So there's been a lot of debate in this generation of gaming whether or not the next generation will actually have some type of physical media or whether or not it'll go all digital. Well, we have a report now that may give us an indication of where it's going. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we all know that both Xbox and PlayStation have digital-only versions of their consoles. And many gamers have wondered for a while, will this be the last generation that we're going to see any type of physical media in their consoles? Well, we have a report here from Insider Gaming that says it looks like physical gaming may continue. So we'll take a look at the headline here. It says, exclusive, PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive on launch. And in the report they say that there's several sources who wish to remain anonymous because they're not authorized to talk about this, that Sony's next gaming console will have a detachable disk drive, basically like the current generation has. So when the PlayStation 5 first came out, you just basically had your digital version or your disc-based version that you could buy, but since then Sony revamped and redesigned the PlayStation 5. And the basic core console is the same on both the digital and the disc-based one. It's just that that disc drive is now detachable. So you can buy a digital PlayStation 5 and add a disc drive later, or if you've got a PlayStation 5 with the disc drive in it that you bought, then you can replace it if perhaps it goes bad. So this isn't at all a new concept, so I don't think the big story here is that the PlayStation 6 is going to have a detachable disc drive. I think the main story here is that the PlayStation 6 is going to have a disc drive at all. I think I'd kind of pretty much resigned myself to believing that the next PlayStation or Xbox system is going to be all digital and there won't be any kind of option for a disc drive. It looks like at least Sony is still planning to support it. Now, I've always been a fan of like a detachable disc drive. It could even be something like USB because all the games have to install on the console anyway. So, if it's a little bit slower and can connect through USB, then I'm perfectly fine with that. If you attempt to buy a PC today, most of the default configurations, both on desktops and laptops, pretty much don't include any kind of optical drive anymore. And I think probably one of the main decisions behind either Sony or Microsoft continuing to support some kind of optical drive is backward compatibility. I've always been one to opt to buy the physical version of a game even if it costs just a little bit more, so I know I have that physical copy that I can keep. However, I will say in recent years I have thought that if the next generation of console does offer some kind of backward compatibility but doesn't offer a disc drive, then I'll have to have my old consoles in order to be able to play these games in the future. But I do have to wonder if perchance that PlayStation 6 games may not come out physically, but maybe perhaps the disc drive could only be used for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games. I definitely hope that isn't the case and that we'll still get some type of physical media that the PlayStation 6 games are on that you can just pop in the drive and then install and not have to reach out to some server to get. And hopefully nothing will change by the time the PlayStation 6 releases. At least according to the article here, it seems that Sony is pretty set on continuing to have an optical drive. You can see from the article here it says, according to one source, unless things are changed at the last minute, PlayStation is firm on the decision because the disk drive for the PlayStation 5 hit all the company's internal targets. Again, it was reiterated by the source that the decision was made to reduce manufacturing and shipping costs during, quote, uncertain times. And I think it's pretty important here to note that it said that the PlayStation 5 hit the company's internal targets for their disc-based system. I know whenever I look at the Famitsu sales charts every Thursday, you can always see the disc-based version of the PlayStation 5 outselling the digital version. So gamers are definitely picking up that disc-based version over the digital version because why not? You want to at least have the option to be able to play your physical games that you have maybe from the PlayStation 4, or perhaps if you picked up a new game and bought it physically for the PlayStation 5. So meeting these internal targets definitely tells Sony that, hey, gamers want to have some type of system with a physical drive in it. So the best advice I can give to everyone out there is keep buying the physical disc-based versions of consoles and try to avoid the digital ones if you want to continue to see physical games get released. Now there's also been some talks about PlayStation 6 having some SKU of a handheld version, and I kind of doubt that version would have any kind of support for an optical drive. I mean, maybe they could make it available if it does have a dock like the Switch and Switch 2 does, that as long as you have a USB disk drive hooked up to the system, then you can continue to play your disc-based games. However, if you take it on the go, it'd be kind of hard to have an optical drive sort of dangling from that handheld. But who knows, maybe they might have some type of Bluetooth type optical drive that could just read the licensing. I'm not sure how all that would work, but it's an idea. But let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below. Do you have a sense of relief now that it seems that the PlayStation 6 will have some type of optical drive option? Or perhaps you're someone that left physical media behind a long time ago and you're just fine with your digital downloads. Drop your comments below and let me know your thoughts. And if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. It really does help the channel out quite a bit. I want to thank you for watching and be good.